Why is gas $5 a gallon? And like, why do I have to pay rent? And why is rent so high? And why do I have to drive my car and get the gas that I have to get to go to the job that I have to pay for rent? Why do I have to do all of that stuff? And why are you making it so fucking expensive to do it? I don't even want to get out and pump my gas. It feels like getting out and just knowing someone's gonna fucking stab you. Why would you get out? And this is beginning. This is the beginning of life. What am I supposed to do forever? I have to get a fucking horse.
So folks are choosing between keeping the lights on or feeding their children. People in West Virginia are saying that their electricity bills are higher than their mortgages. I'm going to say that again, higher than their mortgage. So now families are sitting at their kitchen table trying to decide, are we going to buy groceries? Do we put gas in the car so we can get to work? Or do we keep the lights on? Because we can't do all three. And here's the part that gets me. These are working people doing everything right. And yet they are still falling behind. Because while politicians keep telling us that everything is fine, America gets more expensive for regular working class people every single day. And when bad decisions get made, it's always the working class that's going to pay the price for it. Not the people with power and not the people with money. So I'm going to ask y'all, are you feeling this too? Are you feeling the pinch that's happening all across America? Or is it just me? Tell me in the comments. I need to know.
We love a great FAFO moment, and I have another one for you. First, some background. 65% of the state of Alabama voted for Donald Trump. Alabama is in the top 10 poorest states in the United States related to federal poverty level. While many of these voters sit behind their computers and celebrate Elon Musk cutting waste, little did they know it was going to impact them. This week, over 250 residents in Huntsville, Alabama received a notice from their electric company that they were going to have to pay an additional $100 surcharge. The explanation for this was that Donald Trump's recent executive order ended a $1 million grant to the utilities company to help these customers pay for their electric bill. Leaders in Alabama are furious because they said this is counterintuitive to Donald Trump's promise to lower energy costs. Tots and pears.
Explain something to me. I live in Alabama and
another FAFO
usually averages between $200 $250 a month. Can someone please explain to me how my utility bill went from $250 a month to $696 this month? Could someone just please explain that to me? I know.
Let me show you why. Ready? This guy. That's why your electric bill went up. Trump. No more subsidies for Alabama. No more subsidies for red states. Woo! MAGA. Woo! Go Trump. Go broke.
Accounts have been debited. They're just taking money out of people's accounts as part of their utility bill. Oh, Trump cut off all that money. That's been helping pay your utility bill, Alabama. And so now we're going to start taking all that money back. And by the way, you owe. You owe. You have to pay money. More than you have been, not only for your additional bills, you have to pay back what Trump is no longer allowing to be spent. And that, Alabama utility customers finding, hundreds of dollars taken out of their account in the middle of winter, right? I mean, I guess it's a small story in the grand scheme of things, given what's going on in our whole country. But for people in Alabama, that's a real and immediate and hugely expensive thing that is very obviously Donald Trump's fault.
I just got my utility bill. I'm so scared. Those of you living in North Alabama know this fear. Apparently TVA is charging host utilities more for whatever, and then it's 100 million degrees of hell. I'm so scared. It goes nothing. $753. And guys, it's all electric. For those of you that don't know, Huntsville Utilities, everything's on here. Water, sprinkler, gas, electric, sewer, trash, taxes, whatever, okay? Nothing else is extraordinary except electric at 606. We have changed nothing from last month, nor from last summer. That we do when it's hot.
Hi guys, welcome back again to my channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking when you saw this video. So residents of Alabama is currently finding out in a very strong manner because the prices of the electricity just skyrocketed overnight. Imagine waking up in the morning and you find out that you have been slammed with extra $100 worth of electricity. That's exactly what they're finding out right now, and a lot of them are regretting their vote because it has happened. They didn't see this coming, but it is what it is. So these guys massively voted for the current administration, and now they can no longer afford to.
Hi besties, welcome to my channel. So today we are talking about MAGA voters. They are really furious. They're wondering exactly why is it the bills are increasingly becoming expensive. Why is it they cannot afford healthcare? Why is it they cannot afford literally enjoying living in America? Because during the campaign time, they were promised they are going to make America great. But now, 1 year down the line, 2 years down the line, we are seeing it's the opposite of making America great. So they're asking this question: why were we betrayed? Why? That is the question. So today's video, we're going to find the answer. We're going to break it down. And you, my viewers, please comment. I'd love to hear from you guys because we are going to search those answers, and you're going to look at this video where Americans are literally voicing their voice out there, complaining and saying, this is not what we were promised. So please stay tuned and kindly subscribe to my channel.
Who pays the tariffs?
The Chinese government pays the tariff.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
How you doing?
Hey.
I'm an importer and exporter for 20 years. When a product comes into the US, there's something called a tariff sheet.
Okay.
I, as the buyer of that product, follow US law and pay the tariff. I'm an American citizen, an American taxpayer. I pay that tariff to the US government, and that increase in the cost I then sell to you for a higher price because I've got to cover that tariff.
Then what about,
what do you say
our tariffs are higher when they go overseas as opposed to theirs coming here?
Tariffs are never a zero-sum game. Tariffs are a tool. For example, you might say, you want to sell us your beans.
Yeah.
We are going to give you a low tariff if you buy our corn. But the cost of the tariff is ultimately always borne by the consumer.
Don't you think at the end of the day there may be more competition within the market of the U.S. government?
And you're confusing the question. This is not a question of competition. The point we're discussing is who bears the cost of the tariff.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you if it's good policy for the U.S. government to tax beans and for the Chinese government to tariff corn. But what I can absolutely assure you is that a product that comes into the U.S. is paid for by a U.S. company, and the increased cost of that is borne by all of us. I am an importer and exporter. I do it for a living.
Okay. Then what's the alternative if at one point in our country's history was tariffs that paid for our economy?
Tariffs don't pay for your economy.
But they did. We didn't have income taxes before.
That was before we had municipal infrastructure.
Correct. My understanding is that the tariff is lopsided to benefit other countries as opposed to ours. The suggestion is just to bring it up to make it equal.
That's why you have free trade agreements, right? But it doesn't mean that even within the free trade agreement there are not tariffs. If there's one thing you should take away from this extended conversation is you are always paying the tariff.
You know what? I'm not educated in that. Fair enough.
Yes.
It was a pleasure.
Good.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
How are all of you doing who decided to vote for Donald Trump in this past election? I vividly remember the day after Donald Trump got elected. There were so many people on this app dancing around saying that they're no longer going to get drafted, that they are going to be able to afford the house, that they are going to be able to afford more things and have an easier life now that he has gotten elected. We are essentially a year and a half into his presidency. We are at war. We are seeing gas prices skyrocket. Things are not getting cheaper. Our grocery bills are especially not getting cheaper. So I'm just curious, to those that genuinely thought that their lives were going to be better when Donald Trump got elected, how do you feel right now? Have things gotten better for you? Have things gotten worse? Have you noticed a difference in your life, especially when it comes to spending?
So Trump came out a few hours ago and said that Americans are going to suffer financially for at least 2 years while his tariff strategy takes place. Okay, which means millions of people are about to lose their jobs, they're about to lose their homes, they're going to lose everything they have. Kids are going to be food insecure. We are looking at an economic tsunami. Okay, there's only one of two scenarios in which we can turn this around. One is Trump is lying about the tariffs. If he's lying and he backs down the tariffs, that could help. Okay, he lies every day, so that wouldn't be surprising. But if he's not lying and he keeps these tariffs in place, the only thing we can do is march in the streets and fight back. Call your local representatives. Do whatever you can. Show up at town halls, okay, and complain before he takes every single thing you have. Don't think he'll lose a minute of sleep over it. He's a sociopath. He doesn't feel your pain. He doesn't care about you. Believe me. Even if you're MAGA, he doesn't care about you. I know you think he does, but he doesn't. It's time now, guys, to take control. This is the only chance we're going to have, and we're running out of time. So Trump came out a few hours ago and said that Americans are going to suffer financially for at least 2 years while his tariff strategy takes.
Oh, I'm not going to fucking make it in this fucking world because, like, tell me why I just went to fucking Kroger's and got groceries. I just got paid today. My last fucking paycheck. And I spent $73 fucking on popcorn, crackers, Cheez-Its, milk, ranch dressing, tomatoes. Just basic shit, man. Like, a box of fucking Cheez-Its and a box of fucking crackers was $5 a fucking piece.
I'm tagging the young mom who made this video. And I just want to tell you that I acknowledge you. I can feel your pain. You are not wrong. The prices are crazy, and it's getting difficult to afford to live in the United States, especially under Donald Trump. I also want to apologize for all the MAGA that are piling on in your comments. They're probably not any more well off than most of us, and they're just busy pimping for the billionaire class. They're just pimping for the billionaires. I was trying to think of what the solution is. The tariffs have been reversed by the Supreme Court, so there's probably going to be a lot of refunds given. We paid for those tariffs. Will the corporations pass those savings back onto us, those refunds? No, they won't. No, they won't. And will grocery stores, now that they've increased the prices of groceries and reduced the quantity in their packaging, will they lower the grocery store prices once they get the tariff refunds? No. They've already got all of society used to this whole next level of pricing. So what the fuck is the solution? Well, Zohran Mamdani, of course, knows what that is. He's getting ready to open up the New York City run grocery store. It's going to be not for profit. Everybody's going to buy their groceries at cost. The city is going to run it. The city is going to pay the employees a very good wage. And what that's going to do is it's going to force all the neighboring grocery stores, they're going to have to lower their prices to compete. They're going to have to. It's just one grocery store. But we have to pray and demand that that's just the beginning and that other cities and counties and states will set up the same kind of system. But let's watch how Zohran pulls off that first grocery store.
America has literally built a system where being poor is more expensive. And nobody talks about how backwards that is. Like, if you're already struggling, everything costs more. On a bill you couldn't afford? Well, now you owe more. Miss a payment because you were trying to juggle rent and groceries? Well, now your credit drops and you owe even more money. Overdraw your account by a few dollars? Well, now you owe $50. Like, this system punishes you for already being behind. We're always rewarding millionaires while the people that are struggling the most just simply end up paying the most money. But everybody still says, work harder, budget better. The reality right now is the economy is brutal. It is so hard to get ahead right now. How are you supposed to get ahead whenever you fall behind a little bit and the system just keeps pushing you back further and further? Everything is insane right now. Rent is at an all-time high. Groceries are so expensive. I don't understand how we're supposed to get ahead in this economy anymore. Don't get me wrong, budgeting does help. I literally have to budget with mine, or else I don't know where any of my money would be going. But it doesn't make up for the fact that the system is literally designed to fail us. So if you're struggling right now, you are not alone.
Today is your update on the economy. I believe we are on day 55 of the Iran war. We're at about $50 billion in spending. You heard me correctly. That does not include all the bases that were decimated or the embassies. Fourth quarter GDP 2025 was reduced down to less than 1%. In 2024, fourth quarter GDP was 2.4%, and it's going to get worse. Scott Bessent, our Secretary of Treasury, said it was going to be 10%. He also still doesn't understand tariffs. We are in very big trouble in our economy. 58% of companies plan on laying off. Thousands of companies are closing their doors, which means more layoffs and lost revenue. The government is starting to work on their spending. I'm dropping a post about that. Why is that important? Because you pay taxes, and that's where your money goes. Donald Trump wants to double almost what we spend for the military. We are $39 trillion in debt. He also wants $550 million to renovate the executive quarters, in addition to $450 million for the White House. He also wants to build an ark. Why 60% of Americans are one paycheck away from starving or homelessness. Oil is up 100% per gallon. Diesel is almost $7 here in Las Vegas. They're calling this gas inflation, which means food's gonna go up, toiletries, household products, your shoes, your cars, anything. 75% of items go from someplace on a truck to a store. That brings me now to inflation. It went up almost 1% in 30 days. It's the highest we've had since COVID, and it's going to get worse because gas is going to go up, food is going to go up, and everything is going to go up. We are very screwed in this country because we have somebody who's gone bankrupt 6 times running our country, and he hired the most incompetent staff we've ever had in 249 years history. The best thing I can tell you to do is to follow me so I can give you strategies on how to survive this economy. Number 1, track your spending. Number 2, reduce your spending. Number 3, plan your meals. That is a big budget buster. Number 4, put your debt on 0% interest credit cards or a loan right now. Your job is not secure. 58 to 60% of companies plan on laying off this year, and many already have. We are in big trouble. If you found this sad but informative, please like, comment, follow, and share for all things economic news.
Good morning. Today is April 17th, 2026, and it is currently 9:43 a.m. The U.S. has been quietly draining its emergency oil reserves because of the conflict involving Iran. Now, let's talk about what's really going on and what you should be doing right now. So, here's the situation. On April 9th, the Department of Energy released another emergency release of oil, up to 30 million barrels from the West Hackberry Strategic Petroleum Reserve Site. But that wasn't the beginning. That was part of a much larger move. Since then, the U.S. has committed to releasing about 172 million barrels total from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. And this is all happening because global oil supply has been shaken by tensions involving Iran. On top of that, countries working with the International Energy Agency released about 400 million barrels collectively to try to stabilize things. Now, here's the part that people aren't really talking about. On April 15th, most of these deliveries were already wrapping up because we're moving through these reserves fast. That brings the US down to about 243 million barrels left, which is only about 34% full. That is the lowest we've ever seen since the early 1980s. So yeah, gas prices may feel like they're stabilizing right now, but that's only because we're tapping into emergency reserves. We're buying time, not fixing the problem. And I want to be very clear, this is not about fear. This is about being aware early so that you can move smart instead of reacting late. I'm going to tell you about the worst case scenarios and what you should be doing. So first, the gas prices are going to fast. If tensions escalate or supply routes are disrupted, prices could jump up quickly. Here's what you should do. Keep your gas tank at half, if not full, all of the time. Start planning routes or combining errands in order to save fuel. If possible, set aside a small gas buffer for your budget each week. Number 2, there are going to be temporary shortages in certain areas. Not everywhere, but some regions may see long lines or limited supply. In that scenario, do not wait until your tank is empty. Fill up now. If you haven't already, learn where multiple gas stations are in your area. And avoid panic buying. That actually makes the shortage a lot worse. Number 3, groceries and essentials are going to get more expensive. This means that transportation costs may go up, which means food and everyday items will follow. Here's what you should do. Start building a small practical home buffer like rice, pasta, oats, canned goods, vegetables, beans, protein, frozen foods if you have the space, cooking basics such as oil, flour, and seasoning, and hygiene items such as toilet paper, soap, and toothpaste. Here's a key tip, guys. Don't go out and spend hundreds at once. Just grab 2 or 3 items each grocery trip and build slowly. Number 4, the price of living will continue to rise. You may notice a pressure in certain areas, such as rent, utilities, transportation, and food. Here's what you should do in these situations. Revisit your budget now before things get worse. Cut or pause spending on non-essential items and build a small emergency fund of about $20 to $40 at a time, if you're able. Number 5, I would like for people to know that we're going to have less national emergency backups. With the SPR lower, the US has less room to respond if something else happens globally. This doesn't mean collapse, but it does mean faster reactions in prices and markets. Here's what you should do. Stay informed through these sources like the US Department of Energy. Pay attention to trends, not just headlines. Make decisions early instead of waiting for those things to spike. I need you guys to have a simple prep mindset, okay? Think of it like this. You're not prepping for a disaster. You're prepping for inconvenience getting more expensive. Small steps now equal less stress later. At the end of the day, this isn't about panic. It's about preparation. Because right now the US is buying time. And what you choose to do with that time can either protect you or cost you later on. Don't forget to interact. Please like, comment, and share so that people aren't caught with their pants down when shit hits the wall. Once again, my name is Viola, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Please stay awake, aware, and prepared.
The reality is Americans, whether they voted for this current administration or not, each and every person is feeling it. Each and every person who depend on their paycheck to survive in America right now, they are feeling it. We are being told when you go to the supermarket, you want to buy groceries, you're being told prices have increased triple, sometimes even quadruple. And some people are wondering why is that. But one thing is, before you forget, last year, the current administration, when they came into office, they literally came up with a tariff war. So, and they said that, allegedly, they say that when they increase tariff, it's the country who they're doing business with who are going to pay for that extra, for the extra tariff. But the reality is the person who is going to pay is the consumer. And the consumer is you and I, who are going to the supermarket to buy groceries. When you're interested to buy eggs, you have to pay that extra tariff through that increase of the price. When you're going to buy either peanut butter or bread or any other utilities or groceries you want to do, believe you me, there's that extra dollar you're paying because thanks to the tariff that were increased. And so many people right now, they're complaining and they're saying, why is that? Why are we paying through the nose a lot of money? Why? And yet, during the campaign, the promises that were given is the opposite. Well, that is a good question, and only time will tell. Who is to be blamed? Because at the end of the day, whether you're a MAGA voter or not, people have equal rights. Citizens of America have equal opportunities and equal rights to cast their vote, and they cast their votes and voted for somebody who they believe in. So some voted for Kamala and others voted for the current administration. So either way, there's nothing like a right or wrong, because at the end of the day, we vote for people who we believe have our best interests at heart. So fast forward right now, we are seeing Americans literally is experiencing issues left, right, and center. First of all, jobs, people are losing jobs left, right, and center. There's a lot of jobs losses. Organizations are literally cutting down. They're not employing people. As a result of the all technology increase, it has literally taken over some sectors, because what technology is doing some jobs for literally a human being can do, but technology is doing it faster, better, and efficiently. So companies are preferring to use technology to cover that through the art sector as compared to employing people. Then the other thing you need to understand, the tariff war also, it literally affected countries' economy. It literally affected countries, people's jobs, livelihood in one way or another. You're being told farmers right now, they're suffering, they're not able to afford running their farms because they don't have the money. You're being told right now the government hasn't stepped in to give them budget cuts or policies that are literally going to cushion them during this difficult period. You're being told right now farmers, they don't have farm workers to work on their farms, so they're literally left stranded and they don't know how to go about it. So yes, people's livelihood have been affected in one way or another as a result of the current administration policies. And yes, people are crying. Not only just few people who are laughing all the way to the bank. And when I say few people who are laughing all the way to the bank, I mean the millionaires and the billionaires who literally can afford. If they're told right now to cough $1 million, they'll do it because they are millionaires, they are billionaires, they have extra dollars which are in their accounts. While if you tell somebody who's in the lower class or in the middle class that you need to add a certain amount of money in your budget, they'll tell you, well, you know, right now I'm living a budget to budget and I cannot afford to have that extra dollar that I need to pay from my pocket because of increase of utility bills or grocery, because it's literally eating on my savings or my investment and I cannot afford that. So basically that's how Americans are living right now. So as of April 2026, many MAGA voters and Americans nationwide are experiencing outrage over the utility bills that in some cases have reportedly begun to exceed mortgage payments. Residential energy costs have risen approximately by 13% since President Trump took office in January the year 2025, with further increase of nearly 6% expected throughout 2026. So the rapid build-out of artificial intelligence data centers has created a massive spike in electricity demand. Utilities companies are often facing the cost of upgrading infrastructure to support these centers onto everyday residential customers. Also, geopolitical conflict and fuel volatility has also played a part. An ongoing war with Iran has caused global oil natural gas prices to increase. Since natural gas is a primary fuel for the US power grid, these spikes directly inflate monthly electricity bills and customers are not happy, and those are people who are living in America. Because majority of Americans, you're being told over 50% of America, they have less than $1,000 saved in their savings account. You're being told there's some Americans who are using their credit card to pay their daily activities, their daily bills. So yes, they are feeling it right now, because I said, if you ever tell somebody who's literally living paycheck to paycheck to increase like $100 or $200 on their budget, they'll tell you, I don't have that extra $100 or $200 because, well, I'm literally living paycheck to paycheck. If I end up losing this job, literally, I'm going to be homeless. And that is the reality of majority of people who are living in America. Also, we have trade and tariff policies have affected people's livelihood in one or another. The new tariffs on aluminum, steel, and electrical transformers have significantly increased the cost of grain components, which utilities eventually bill to the consumer. The person who feels the pinch is the consumer. And of course, the Trump administration repeal of tax credit for wind and solar production has reportedly reduced the supply of cheaper renewable energy, contributing to an estimated annual bill increase of $75 to $400 per household, depending on the region. So basically, in a nutshell, critics argue that while the administration promised to cut energy costs in half by the year 2026, current data shows the opposite occurring. The MAGA voter uproar highlights a growing frustration among the base as affordability concerns now outpace climate worries. And the reality is voters in key states like Virginia and New Jersey are increasing viewing electricity bills as a primary economic indicator, similar to grocery prices in previous cycles. This disconnect is expected to be a major factor in the upcoming 2026 midterm election. And yes, if the things don't change, this midterm election is going to be a factor where people are going to decide who they are going to choose, because at the end of the day, majority of Americans right now are not happy. So guys, I'd love to hear from you. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you guys. Besties, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Faizan Eshika, and this is the People's Tea. And remember, I'll be sharing everything concerning America. Welcome and stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel.